Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Samantha Hamilton. If it's not a presidential election year, people tend to develop apathy towards voting and politics, especially at the local level. But one could argue local government affects people the most. Newsfeed reporter Sarah Cundiff has the story.
On November 5th, Virginia will have its general election, which will decide who controls the House of Delegates and the state Senate. Karen Holt, political science professor at Virginia Tech, believes these local elections should get just as much attention as the national ones.
Not only do they vote on things like college tuition levels and all of those sorts of things, but we're going into a census year, so this is the set of elected officials that will do redistricting.
And according to Holt, those are the officials that have the greatest influence on Montgomery County residents.
And that's true even for college students, because if we think about the state legislature, for example, this election is a really important one because this election, every state legislator seat is on the ballot.
If you're unable to cast your ballot in person at your voting location, you can always request and then mail in your absentee ballot. This gives everybody a chance to perform their civic duty.
Kate Douthit is a senior at Virginia Tech, and she agrees that it is these local elections, like the one on November 5th, that people should pay attention to and vote on.
For your own, your own daily life, I think it's more impactful for the vote for the local elections. It's such a small task that you can do that can help your community, that why not?
Whether it's in person or via absentee, voting matters and can be the most effective way to have your voice heard.
If we don't participate, how can we complain about things not getting done that we like? So I think all of those reasons it's kind of important, yeah.
Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Sarah Cundiff.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Samantha Hamilton. If it's not a presidential election year, people tend to develop apathy towards voting and politics, especially at the local level. But one could argue local government affects people the most. Newsfeed reporter Sarah Cundiff has the story.
On November 5th, Virginia will have its general election, which will decide who controls the House of Delegates and the state Senate. Karen Holt, political science professor at Virginia Tech, believes these local elections should get just as much attention as the national ones.
Not only do they vote on things like college tuition levels and all of those sorts of things, but we're going into a census year, so this is the set of elected officials that will do redistricting.
And according to Holt, those are the officials that have the greatest influence on Montgomery County residents.
And that's true even for college students, because if we think about the state legislature, for example, this election is a really important one because this election, every state legislator seat is on the ballot.
If you're unable to cast your ballot in person at your voting location, you can always request and then mail in your absentee ballot. This gives everybody a chance to perform their civic duty.
Kate Douthit is a senior at Virginia Tech, and she agrees that it is these local elections, like the one on November 5th, that people should pay attention to and vote on.
For your own, your own daily life, I think it's more impactful for the vote for the local elections. It's such a small task that you can do that can help your community, that why not?
Whether it's in person or via absentee, voting matters and can be the most effective way to have your voice heard.
If we don't participate, how can we complain about things not getting done that we like? So I think all of those reasons it's kind of important, yeah.
Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Sarah Cundiff.
Kickstart VT hosted yet another live pitch event for aspiring student entrepreneurs. All 4 entries received different amounts of seed money for their business ventures. Kickstart hosts live pitches like these each month to get feedback and see what other students are working on. Judges look for qualities such as if the business pitch solves a problem, identifies specific milestones, and targets potential customers. Student entrepreneurs pitch various ideas ranging from music and socializing to cars and even secondhand shopping. Jack Wyndham pitched his idea for Cordia, an app for sharing music, and was awarded $1,000 towards his venture.
I did some research. My friends helped me with some research, and they were like, this is how to get your brand out, and this is how to make money and really explore, because this is what eventually it has to do, because right now I'm running a business. The app designing part is done. It's about the business side of it now, and this is a really introduction to the business side of being an entrepreneur.
After getting advice from seasoned entrepreneurs and even winning fan favorite, Jack Wyndham is confident about his app's takeoff. Since any Hokie from any major or year can participate, there is no limit to student entrepreneurship. Bellevue Farm Estate has decided to try their hand at craft brewing, but these aren't just any beers. Bellevue's unique brews are completely gluten-free. Bellevue Farm Estate has been producing award-winning wine since 2012. The estate's on-site brewery opened their doors in early September and has been producing gluten-free beers ever since. Owner Yvonne Bellevue lives a gluten-free lifestyle and has always strived to accommodate those who share his needs. With craft brewing becoming so popular, the gluten-free brews were a natural next step.
Biggest difference between what we're doing with our gluten-free beers and what the rest of the beer making world does is we don't use any barley. So it's mostly ingredients based. So right now our primary ingredients are millet, buckwheat, and rice.
Bellevue's gluten-rich beers are brewed off-site at Parkway Brewing in Salem, Virginia. This is to ensure no cross-contamination occurs. Both the winery and the brewery are open Wednesday through Sunday from noon to 6 p.m. Virginia Tech's campus has a unique dining experience that can be found on 4 wheels. The food truck industry has taken off this past year and allowed some of campus trucks to join the fun. Between all these different options, students have many opportunities come mealtime. Newsfeed reporter Emily Horvath joins us with more on the story.
Starting in 2016, Virginia Tech has had 2 food trucks on their Blacksburg campus, the first being the Grill Field and the second being the Periodic Table.
Okay, so the Periodic Table is like Asian fusion style menu. Everything comes with noodles or rice and your choice of protein or vegetarian option. And then we also offer our dessert, which is a fried cheesecake.
The original 2 trucks have also included earlier and later shifts to accommodate the surplus of Virginia Tech students.
This year, Virginia Tech is bringing new food trucks onto campus. These include, but are not limited to, Creole That, Nomad Coffee Co., and Man's Sausage Company. They can be found near New Classroom Building on Perry Street and Goodwin Hall.
The new trucks are part of a local Lunch Bites food truck program that allows them to come onto campus Monday through Thursdays. These trucks allow students to try a variety of local food.
I know the feedback we get is tremendous. We do a ton of repeats, and again, we hope to continue to grow that. But we've definitely heard where somebody's come out and a student and they'll say, you know, we'll say, hey, have you had our product before? And they'll be like, no, but man, I've heard like awesome things about a particular dish, whether it's the mac bowl or the cheesesteak or the German, whatever it might be. So it's definitely encouraging.
Although they are new to campus, students have been buzzing with the prospects of trying new food instead of the same old, same old. Many trucks, like Man's Sausage Company, aim to usher in a new and fresher feel to Hokie dining. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Emily Horvath.
Just ahead on the news feed, see how Hokies have been recognizing LGBTQ month by coming together as a community. And the traditions you chant at game days may no longer be allowed. That story and more after this break.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Hi, I'm your host, Smokey Cole Bear. Filling in for Smokey, because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless, dumping our used barbecue coals willy-nilly. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. That's why I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous or new car scented. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to the Newsfeed. I'm Samantha Hamilton. As fall sports are in full swing, the Virginia Tech Concussion Research Team is in the process of developing more effective techniques and preventing concussions. In the end, the athlete's health is the most important part in a team's success, and that is what the Concussion Research Team and the sport physicians are trying to do. Newsfeed reporter Mattia Muar has more on the story.
Virginia Tech Concussion Research Team is determined that they can make football and other contact sports safer. The team is testing football helmets with embedded sensors that can record impacts and G-forces obtained by the hits. So far, the majority of the information gathered over the past 5 years went into the study that will make concussions easier and faster to determine right there on the field.
One of the things we're doing is we're doing a biomarker study where if your brain is injured, it will release a certain protein in your blood. So you can literally do like a pinprick test on your finger on the sidelines to determine if there's a concussion.
It is hard for the research team to get more data and start a new study since it takes so long to obtain enough information to conclude and finalize the findings. The team is struggling to get the right equipment needed for the study. For now, they only focused on football, but they want to expand to other sports.
Right now, the sensors that we use are only in one type of helmet. So maybe over time, different companies are coming into the market with quality sensors. I think we'll also start to see sensors across different sports and not just specifically for football.
The biomarkers and everything else they research will not only be used by football teams, they can also be used by any sports as well as military.
I just think it's very important that all of us here at Virginia Tech, whether student, faculty, staff, realize how key this institution has been in head injury research across the world.
It is therefore important to realize the role that this research team played at trying to better our society. I'm Mattia Muhart reporting for the Newsfeed.
The Virginia Tech Band has been one of the most important aspects of Virginia Tech football for many years. Whether it be the fight song or long-lasting traditions, the band is sure to rally any Hokie fan. Unfortunately, some traditions are not able to stand the test of time. Or are they? Nathan Brennan has more on the story.
Thanks, Sam. Despite controversy, the Marching Virginians have decided to revisit the famous tradition Stick It In. The resurgence has not only excited band members, but students as well. The Marching Virginians are a student-led band that incorporate many types of students that attend Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. Over the past several years, the Marching Virginians have become one of the most prestigious marching bands in Virginia. Their expertise helps create a better college football experience and emphasize tradition at Virginia Tech. While traditions are an important factor in the Hokie atmosphere, one popular ritual, Stick It In, was no more. In 2007, according to the Collegiate Times, Stick It In and its connotation did not reflect the university's behavior, banning the chant from all athletic events. But even 12 years later, students still remember the impact. Fast forward 12 years later, and the band also remembers the infamous tradition and was excited to get it playing once again.
Once in a while, like the beginning of the season, before school starts, the drumline will play it just for fun. Just so like the freshmen and stuff coming in just get to hear it.
As of right now, students and band members do not know the direction of the Stick It In ritual, but they do know how excited it makes all Hokies fans. Whether the Stick It In tradition stays or leaves Hokies again, one thing is for certain: if the Hokies are in the red zone, there will always be rumblings of Stick It In. The school is yet to comment on the revisitation of Stick It In, but there is hope that it is here to stay. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Nathan Brennan. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks, Nathan. With movie screenings and discussion forums, the queer community at Virginia Tech is making their presence known. October is National LGBTQ+ History Month, and the Virginia Tech LGBTQ Resource Center is celebrating Pride with several events educating their history here on campus. The center was founded in 2016 after many students advocated of the importance for its creation. Its purpose is to provide a safe space for queer students to come together as a community. Since 2016, the center has become a hub for LGBTQ clubs at Virginia Tech, like Hokie Pride.
This has meant that we have a common location where we have all of our meetings. It's a place where we can all meet. It's a place that really does feel like a home. Rather than just like an additional part of our community.
The center's influenced many changes on campus, such as all-gender restrooms, community support groups, and safe zones, which will be available to students in the spring. The center hopes that Hokies of every sexual orientation and gender identification will always feel safe and supported on campus. In 2016, Newman Library opened the Virginia Tech 3D Design Studio. The studio provides free 3D printing to not just Virginia Tech students, but the entire Blacksburg community as well. While the design studio has been around for years, it remains busy with designs submitted by students and Blacksburg residents. 3D Design Studio student assistant Sarah Loomis explains how the Blacksburg community utilizes the studio.
A lot of projects, so a lot of the engineering students, a lot of the architecture students especially, bring in a lot of projects, and then people also come in with a bunch of personal prints, so they'll make like vases for themselves, they'll make just decorations to put around their house, they'll make something for their significant other.
Loomis encourages the community to come use the 3D Design Studio and to learn more about the future of 3D printing. Loomis says the studio will print any 3D design brought in as long as it is under 500 grams and is not a weapon. That will wrap up this edition of the Newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrb@gmail.com. And as always, you can also connect with the Newsfeed on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm Samantha Hamilton.